Legislative Chambers. My name is Andrew Joyce, and I serve as chair of the Albany County Legislature. The rules of the Albany County Legislature allow for a period of public comment before our monthly meetings. Our rules prohibit members of the public from questioning legislators and prohibit us from questioning you. This is your time to speak and our time to listen. Your input and your commitment to come speak here tonight is very important to all of us. In accordance with our rules of order, speakers will be allowed 3 minutes each. We have 10 speakers tonight. I ask everyone to please silence their cell phones, members and the public alike. But before we get to the list of speakers, we would like to recognize our minority leader, Frank Moriello, for the purposes of recognizing Colony Pop Warner Raiders. The teams competed in the Youth Cheer and Dance Alliance Globals, a national competition held in Atlantic City, New Jersey this past February, where 5 Raiders teams competed. All Raiders teams represented themselves well, serving as a source of pride for their coaches, families, and communities. Notably, the U10 team finished first in their division, besting several other teams from across the country with a score of 93.27%. And the U18 team finished first in their division, surpassing 2 Florida teams with a 94.62 score. Congratulations on your outstanding performance. We're very proud of your accomplishments for you to come here tonight. And now we'd like to recognize Albany County Legislator Frank Moriello for a few words. Okay, we want to make sure that so let's get a couple more up front. Some of the shorter ones, you guys want to come up here? Stand up here with Frank and Paul.
Go behind the shorter ones in the back.
You guys up front. You gotta make a little more right here. You want to make sure everyone can see you. I want you to just kind of spread out a little bit right here. Move forward. Just raise a little bit.
George here.
This way, folks. Get you the photo right. And come to the Congratulations. Good job.
I just want to say a few quick words. I'm very honored, very proud to be here tonight to be in front of these fantastic athletes in Colony. My daughters, both of my daughters, cheered for South Colony Pop Warner, and Martha here was the driving force. She does a phenomenal job. South Colony Pop Warner football, cheerleading and football, is probably the best Pop Warner organization, not only in the Capital District, one of the best in the state. My daughters used to go to all the competitions. We would easily win the local competition. We do very well in the state competition. We make it all the way to the regional, and some of our teams even made it beyond to Disney. Phenomenal organization, teaches the girls, teamwork, hard work. They start on the 1st of August practicing. And it's for 4 nights a week, Monday through Thursday. And I believe it's like from 6 to 8, is that right? And in August, it's brutally hot. And these girls were very, very hard practicing. Then come November, being in November as the season is winding down, it's freezing up there. Just amazing the change in the temperature. I want to thank Martha. She does a phenomenal job. All the young ladies here, they do a great job. Rachel, two coaches who coached and cheered with my daughter as well. They're still here with the organization. So I just want to thank them very much, and I think they deserve a big round of applause.
You know, you're all welcome to stay to watch government in action if you want to stay and watch us go through our agenda here. Maybe next time. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Beston. Here. Brewski. Here. Bergdorf. Here. Chapman. Clay. Here. Cleary. Here. Collins. Here. Camiso. Here. Cunningham. Here. Demolowitz. Here. Drake. Epicoro. Yes. Ethier. Here. Feeney. Here. Fine. Here. Grimm. Here. Andrew Joyce. Here. Ray Joyce. Here. Coon. Here. Lakakis. Yes. Lockhart. Murriello. Here. Mayo. Here. McLaughlin. I do know she's here. McLean Lane. Miller. Present. O'Brien. Hurley. Here. Peter. Here. Plosky. Present. Reedy. Here. Reinhardt. Here. Ricard.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Simpson.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Tunney.
Here.
Ward. Whalen. Willingham. Present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, please read the first name of the first speaker.
Carol Waterman.
I'm going to be talking about reparations again today, but before that, I urge everybody here to look at Thursday's Altamont Enterprise, which contained the longest article I have ever seen there. And it's about Zarina, who is here, Lincoln Pharmacy, and Genoa. And when the night of the vote and you all talked, Jennifer Whalen said stuff about insider baseball. Well, you read this article and you're going to see it's a whole lot worse. Okay, about reparations. Slaves built this country. They built the White House. They built part of the U.S. Capitol. They built Mount Vernon and many, many other places. Taking this closer to home, they built the governor's mansion, the state education building, and many other buildings that, I had driven by many times and never realized who built it. Well, what they literally built, and you can Google all that yourself and see how many places they built, but what they literally built is just a small part of how they built this country. I can wait till you finish talking. Well, I think I'm going to have to wait a while. Thank you. I'm waiting till you finish talking. Okay, thank you. All righty. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah.
1 minute.
I hope you didn't count that time we were waiting. I'm sorry. Not okay. I'm not starting over. I just want to continue. Okay. So, they built this country with their labor. They built it picking cotton. They built it harvesting tobacco. And they created vast wealth for slave owners, which in turn created generational wealth for their children, their children's children, right up until the present. Meanwhile, of course, there's generational poverty. White people profit every single day from their labor. Now, what I'm asking is that a task force be established to come up with a recommendation about how to do reparations. And
It's
of
time,
course,
Carol.
I want it to be bipartisan. Now, it's not going to cost any money at all to do that. However, will reparations cost money? Yes. Should reparations cost money? Yes. Now, it's Passover right
Carol,
now.
that's time. Please conclude your remarks. Thank you.
I am. Okay. Since it's Passover, I'm quoting part of a very famous quote by Hillel. And the last line of 3 is, if not now, when? Okay, when? When? Okay, thank you.
Roy Hoffman.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. Good evening. My name is Roy Hoffman. Again, I am the local president for Local 775, your Albany County Correctional Officers. A couple of months ago, Sheriff Apple was here speaking on our behalf. I don't know if you remember, it was like 50 some odd of us here. He basically told us that, a football analogy, that we're on the 5-yard line. We are so close to signing our contract, it's all said. That was a lot of hope and a lot of dreams, I guess, because we're no farther from there. Okay, there was a fumble on the 4-yard line, and here I stand today. And I've put my hand out many a times. I've been to many a fundraisers asking for help, and now I'm coming here to tell you the truth. The negotiation team for Albany County has done nothing but stall this negotiation with us. Okay, our contract was over the end of 21, starting off in 2022. We have done nothing but wait, and wait for offers to be given. We had a final offer given to us on the 16th of last month, and it was horrible. Other counties, the county across the river is offering starting pay at $52,000. Schenectady is following suit. Every county around here is following suit, trying to have a competitive market for law enforcement and corrections. Nobody wants this job. And Albany County still wants to offer $41,000 to starting officers. Okay, how can we be competitive? We cannot be competitive at that level. Okay, we offer a counter proposal, and the negotiation team tells me it's somewhere around $500,000 to $800,000 for us to come together. And then I get told Albany County has no money. $500,000 for Albany County can't be that much. It can't be that big of a step to give yourself a safe, productive jail. Okay? Yes, sir. Thank you. Late in 21, you all approved a recruitment retention program where we did some better health coverage for the employees, and we did a unified longevity program. The negotiation team thinks it's possible to drag that out for 2 years for union people, okay? Your union employees are the employees that keep this place running. My correction officers are the officers that stand on the line every day, 16 hours a day, because we don't have enough officers to stay in that facility, okay? One last thing I would like to say is that we have over 160 federal borders in that facility. 160. That is 3 tiers, okay, that have to be manned by officers. As we run short, and you'll hear from my fellow brothers and sisters, as they can't go home, they're made to stay at the jail while the county profits from these borders. I'm asking for all of your help to understand that the situation you put these officers in is astronomical. Think for 1 second, what would this place be without my brothers and sisters, without any correction officers to stand on the line? Thank you very much.
Brian Donagowitz.
I'm Brian Dongowick. I'm the treasurer for the union. To follow up on what we're ready to say, most of us work 16-hour days, 3-4 days a week. It takes a tremendous toll on us, physically, mentally, on our families. Last week, Tuesday night, before I went to bed, I told my wife I would talk to her Saturday morning because I knew that I wasn't going to be home for the next 3 days. And that's exactly how it worked out. Fortunately, we had a road trip that day. I was exhausted, but we had to spend some time talking. But it was 3 days where I didn't see her. Thankfully, my kids were all older, so I'm not having to tell my young kids that, but we have quite a few officers that have young kids at home. They have to tell them the same thing. They don't see their kids for days. They don't see their significant others for days. And it really does do damage. It does damage to us, does damage to the families. You try not to bring it to work, but that happens. It's a tough environment for us. These borders that Roy talked about, that generates a lot of revenue for the county, and that's being done on our backs, and we're short-staffed. We don't have the staff to do this, but that money is being generated, and that revenue goes to the county, and then for us to be told that there's no money to pay us, that's real tough to swallow. That's a hard one to swallow. And we just see the article about the unexpected windfall from the tax revenues for the sales from the NCAA tournament. That difference alone is more than enough to cover what we're talking about over a 6-year deal. And for us to be told that there's no money to pay us with what we're put through day in and day out, again, that's a tough one to swallow. I could go on and on. I'm not going to. Thank you for your time. We're asking for your help. We need your help. Please and thank you.
Patrick Lyman.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Lyman. I've been a correction officer with the Albany County Sheriff's Office for the last 5 years. I've also been Chief Shop Steward for Local 775 for the last 2 years. I come today to help shed some light on the issues facing us correction officers over at the Albany County Correctional Facility. We are assigned to a 4-day work schedule with 2 days off. Our regular shifts are 8 hours long. The correctional facility has been in a manpower crisis for the last 3 years. We are around 70 officers short. This means that many days the facility operates understaffed, which creates an unsafe environment for everyone who steps foot into that facility. The current way to manage this is by utilizing mandatory overtime. Many of my brothers and sisters are working 16-hour shifts, 4 days in a row, leaving little to no time to spend outside of the facility. They work, they sleep, they do it all over again. Some of them have to have dinner with their significant others out in the parking lot just to get that time with them. 16 hours in one of the most stressful environments, 4 days in a row. It's nothing, without experiencing it, you have no idea what it's like. A lot of new officers experience this and they realize they need to get out and find a new job. And more often than not, they can find a job that pays about the same with significantly less demanding. They have seen there are no reinforcements coming and they choose to get out. I've been searching myself for other employment. I'm 29 years old and would like to one day start a family of my own, but the demands of the job leave me little time to do so. It's hard enough to explain my work schedule to a significant other. I can't imagine how my brothers and sisters explain it to their families and children. It takes a toll on all of our officers, on our mental health and well-being. The pay is so low, it's not worth giving up so much of your life, so much of your time. This leaves my brothers and sisters who bravely remain to pick up the slack, not by choice, but through mandate. We continue to miss birthday parties, athletic events, and other accomplishments of our families. This precious time lost cannot be gained back. By increasing the base pay, you can help get them home, be with their families, and have a life outside of that jail. A higher starting pay will incentivize people to take the job as a correctional officer, help resolve our manpower crisis. This is not only an investment in the future of the correctional facility, but an investment to the citizens of Albany County, who are the people that we serve. Thank you.
Julie Hall.
Hi, my name is Julie Hall. I've been a correctional officer with Albany County for just under 21 years. I came here today as one of the people that my president and the rest of my colleagues are talking about. I am one of the single moms in the jail. I chose in 2012 to get pregnant on my own. It was my choice. And in 2013, I was lucky enough to give birth to 2 beautiful boys. I did my time at the jail. When I started in 2002, we were told, put your time in, get through your overtime. The first 10 years is gonna be hell, but you can do it. And I did it. I did my time. But now I can't go home to my kids. In April, I had to choose to go back to midnights because I couldn't get out at 3 o'clock every day to get my kids. I had to rely on my sisters flying to school because I was mandated last minute and I didn't know I was gonna get hit. Today, before this meeting, my children spent the day with us at my union meeting because I'm a single mom and we spend every second weekend together because I know when I shipped them off to my sister's house today before I came to this meeting and then flew here as fast as I could, I won't see them again until Thursday night when I get out of work because I'm gonna work 3 16s in a row and it's not fair to my kids. I'm lucky I have my family and that they are supportive as they are and they take on the burden of the county for me. Because what babysitter am I gonna find to watch my kids from 11 p.m. at night to 3 o'clock in the afternoon? I couldn't afford it, even with overtime money, because babysitting is astronomical, the pay for it. I'm asking for your help. I didn't have my kids to become a surrogate. I had my kids to be a mom, and I can't do that at this job. When we became into crisis 3 years ago, if I didn't have my family, I would have had to resign. With 19 years on the job, I have 4 years and 1 month left. My kids and I do a countdown every week because they cannot wait for mommy to be home because they know when I left them today, I won't hug them or kiss them again until Thursday night when I pick them up at 4 o'clock at night. And that, maybe you don't understand if you don't have kids, but it's excruciating. It's excruciating to know that I won't see my babies for 3 days because I have to take on the burden of that jail. And it's not right. And it's not fair, even if I had 1 year on the job. But having 21 years on the job, it should not be happening to us. We need help, and I'm not the only one. If I could find a job and leave today, I would, because my baby's time is worth more than that. And the 2% they want to give us in our contract is disgusting and is disrespectful not only to me, but to my 9-year-olds at home that want their mommy. Thank you.
Andrew Lacosi.
My My name's Andrew Lacoste. I'm a 19-year veteran with the Albany County Sheriff's Office. I have 2 little ones at home. I spend 4 days of work at the jail, 16 hours every day. Our pay needs to be upped. I'm not saying make us rich. I'm not looking for that. I want us to have food on the table. I would like to work less. My wife's a stay-at-home mom. We decided after having our second child that she would stay home because daycare is too expensive. So for me to do the extra 16 to 24 hours a week helps out. But you know what? Everything has gone up when we first did this over a year ago. Gas is going up. Food is going up. I'm working all 4 days. The only time I see my kids is 2 days a week, and that's on my days off. I'm a 42-year-old man with 6 years left. I don't want to have a heart attack. I don't want to stress out. I don't want to stroke out. I want to provide for my family, make it to retirement, and watch my kids grow. I want to be an old man when I go. And all I'm asking is for a little bit of money to let us be more professional, more outstanding as people, and to help people make it through this job. And maybe let us go home, even though we choose to do the overtime sometimes, to help pay for that extra vacation of the stress relief that we need when we're not at the facility. Thank you very much for listening.
Patricia Sibilia.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Patricia Sibilia, and I'm speaking on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Albany County tonight. We felt a great amount of thankfulness when the legislature reached out to the League about the I Voted sticker contest, something we asked the Board of Elections about shortly after hearing of it in Ulster County, the Ulster County effort last fall. And we heartily appreciate the legislative proposed Resolution 152, which would increase voter education about their rights. The League's core efforts are education and engagement of citizens in their government, with voting as one of the most honored pieces to that. Too often, we have felt our efforts were solo ones, so to have a partnership with the county is so very much appreciated. Based on our years of experience, our collaboration with other leagues across the state and the nation in learning what is good practices, and for some of us being on the ground as election inspectors, we always have other ideas that could make a difference to the voters of Albany County. If possible, we'd be very grateful for another opportunity to collaborate and partner further on voting initiatives. With this being a local election year, a year where turnout is traditionally very low, we hope you will support and promote the League's efforts in educating citizens via our online voter guide, Vote 411, as well as, which is, by the way, one of the only sources that the voters have to learn about their candidates speaking in their own words, as well as to help support us in our candidate forums. We truly appreciate the support that you have shown us. Thank you for letting us speak tonight.
Lynn Jackson.
Members of the Albany County Legislature, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Lynn Jackson. I live at 223 South Swan Street in Albany. I'm here to ask the Albany County Legislature to create a task force to study and recommend actions on reparations. The institution of slavery was an abomination. I was shocked to recently learn that slavery was not completely abolished in New York State until 1827, a much later date than I had thought. It is a challenge to come to terms with one's nation's history of injustices. And I saw this recently, a similar type situation, when in January I visited northern Iraq, Kurdistan, and it was a wonderful trip, met a lot of wonderful people, but amongst the things I did is I visited 3 museums of Saddam Hussein's genocides against the Kurds. And though this was a very difficult thing to see, I realized that knowing our history is really, really important. The effects of slavery and injustice in our country are still with us today. There is no question about this. And even though this is really uncomfortable to do, we must address these issues and find some way to ameliorate or come to terms with this injustice. It is really time for white people to use their privilege to get reparations done. Thank you very much.
Zarina Jalal.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Zarina Jalal. I'm the supervising pharmacist at Lincoln Pharmacy located here in Albany. I've been to this podium a lot of times in the past few months, and each time I've asked you to scrutinize the relationship that the county Department of Mental Health has with Genoa Pharmacy. And this past week, the Altamont Enterprise published an article on the topic, and it echoed the concerns that I have repeatedly raised here. So it wasn't surprising to me when I read that the article found that the administration of the Department of Mental Health wasn't forthright in their responses, especially when they raised questions regarding nepotism in the hiring process. But honestly, what stood out most to me, especially in the past 6 months, is how this decision was made with so little data. One of the claims made was that the injections were switched because of medical necessity, that patients needed to use Genoa because they were just showing up without appointments. And never mind the medicine behind that doesn't make sense, but there were never any numbers that were shared to you on how many patients actually missed a dose when Lincoln was providing those injections. My data, which I shared with you, showed that there was a trend that was largely prescriber-based. Recently, I submitted a FOIL request to the county for information on how many single bid contracts have been awarded in the past few years. I was told that that information couldn't be provided because that data didn't exist. Honestly, I don't know if I should believe that or not, but in December, this body, you promised that you would take a look at the RFP process, and it's been 4 months, and answers to the most basic questions aren't even available. I have heard you have discussions in committee meetings about the solutions that you want to have for other things, like how to stifle the alarming rate at which commercial real estate grows vacant in this community, your desire to improve healthcare access and healthcare services to the most vulnerable parts of this community. But if you want to turn it around in Albany County, if you want to move past the problems that have been magnified post-COVID, I suggest you start by taking action when the professionals and the community stakeholders tell you there is a problem. Thank you.
Francis Grumlow.
My name is Francis Gremick. I'm a 20-year vet of the Albany County Correctional Facility. You heard my brothers and sisters talk about money and pay scale and contract. I'm going to do the same. The county executive, the sheriff, and the comptroller have received no less than 5% raises over the last 12 years. You yourselves have received the $32,000 raise, $32,000 raise, all voted on by you. We're not asking for that. We work in one of the largest county jails in the state. We make $6.5 million a year for this county. They offered us a contract that was pathetic, 2%, and it doesn't start until 24. If we don't get new officers in that jail, and by raising the starting salary and keeping officers by keeping the salaries competitive, you guys will lose that $6 million a year because the federal government will pull their 160 boarders out and you guys will be out. We're not asking you to empty your coffers, but we're asking you to dip into it. $42 million is what we're gonna make you over 6 years, and our contract of less than $1 million isn't worth the same in that same 6 years? That's pathetic. And I'm sorry, but the county legislation and the executive should be ashamed of themselves. $42 million and you won't give back $1 million of it.
As nice as I can be.
There are no more speakers.
Is there anyone else in chambers who wishes to speak? Come on up, Marco. Make sure you sign the sheet.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marco Flagg. I work at United Tenants of Albany, also just a community member of Albany. Here, I believe, it's important and it's helpful for the leadership of the county DSS to hear from community members and organizations that help DSS serve the community, to hear about some gaps in policy. And it's really, sometimes those gaps need to be experienced and found in order to be addressed. And that's why it's important that organizations like United Tenants of Albany and others continue to bring community voices to this critical policy conversation. Here, as members of the county legislature, I'd like to briefly summarize my experience with a client. I'll call her A, or just a client, to illustrate how county DSS policy has exposed a newly evicted elder tenant to unnecessary and mental physical trauma. And I hope to transform this experience into a really simple policy demand that could call for county DSS to reform their policy, especially when working with community members registered on the county special needs registry. I worked with this client for months, and she herself worked for months looking for she lost her Section 8, right? And so she was looking for new housing, talking to folks at the Health Equity Partnership, various other social services and whatnot, just to find an affordable place to live. It's incredibly difficult, particularly for folks that lose their housing vouchers. She was not able to find that in time, and so, as well as she suffered a myriad of health problems stemming from various issues. So basically what happened was all that preparation that she herself did, UTA, Health Equity Partnership, LASNY, and others completed in order to protect her from the trauma of street homelessness were wasted due to this policy. And really, had I not been there to assist her, this immunocompromised tenant would have been locked out on the street. Basically, she was caught in a limbo. I'm sorry? 30 seconds. Okay, she was caught in a limbo where the eviction was scheduled, but had not been, the lockout had not occurred. Because of that, she was not able to access any services or shelters. Now, her being on the special needs registry, she definitely has special needs. She came to DSS early. At that time, as they are both county entities, DSS and the Sheriff's Department, DSS could have called the Sheriff's Department without telling the tenant when and when the lockout would occur, just to prepare a safe shelter for the client, and then could have just given her like a piece of paper or something like that and said, listen, I'm not going to tell you when exactly the lockout is, just give this to the sheriff and the sheriff will give you a ride to that shelter. That did not happen, and because of existing policy and because of that, a very vulnerable, kind woman was in danger. Her life was very much in danger. So maybe pay attention to that. Thank you so much.
We have a full copy of Marco's testimony in regards to the policy. We'll get that out to the members this week just so everyone's aware. members of the Social Services Committee, working closely with the chair on implementing some of these changes and analyzing things we can do better in Albany County. Anyone else in chambers who wishes to speak, please come on up and sign the sign-in sheet.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tabora Marcus. I am the president of the West Hill Neighborhood Association. I'm here today. I came today to really talk about some of the properties that people have been put out of, that we feel you guys should be looking into home ownership for these folks. These are the people who should be owning these properties that you guys are locking out, at least giving them the opportunity. We're talking about lifelong residents of the city, of the county. They should definitely be something in place that can help folks to start owning these properties. I know you guys normally turn the properties over to the land bank, which then, you know, there's a whole lot going on there. But I think sitting in the back of the room and hearing a lot of people come up and talk about the correction officers, I want to reflect a little bit. Me standing here hearing, I'm someone who have a kid that's currently serving time. And a lot of times I get the conversations from my kid that the officers are angry. They are doing things to them while they're in prison. And just listening to their voices, a lot of times we can see there's a different story that might happen here. These folks are being burnt out. They aren't being heard. That reflects on our children who are now in prison doing prison time. If you're mistreating them, that mistreatment now trickles down to our family members. So I think you guys should really, really look into getting better pay. Like, no one wants to work. An officer, a correction officer, getting paid less than I do, and I pretty much just kind of do some things in the city and talk to folks and give them resources. And these are people who are putting their lives on the line every day in these facilities. Some are definitely burnt out and they're angry, so that kind of pushes off into our children or our loved ones that are doing time. So I urge you guys to really look into giving folks competitive wages and being competitive with someone's quality of life. I mean, we're talking about equity here right now in the city, the county, and everywhere else. And what I just heard these folks talk about is just despicable for someone to not be able to spend time with their family. If my job required me to do that, I would definitely have to just give my time up and find something else to do. And I think none of us would want to see our correction officers put their badges on the table and just walk out and say, you know, it's a free fall for our loved ones who are in prison. So thank you guys.
Is there anyone else in chambers that wishes to speak?
Good evening. My name is Thomas Pleat. You heard my brothers and sisters speak earlier. They've been here for the last 20 years. I'm going to tell you my opinion for someone who's been in jail for the last 10 months. Since I started there, I'm a former member of the United States military. I've been in the U.S. Army for the last 3 years. Love it. Decided to take myself a service somewhere else, so I started working at the jail. Like I said, I've been there for 10 months, and there's only been 4 days since I've been there when I've been able to walk and go home. My base pay is $41,000 a year, and I have to work 65, 70 hours a week to make any money. I don't live at home. I have to fend for myself. Since I've been there, I've seen numerous staff assaults. I've seen inmates put their own fecal matter in cups and chuck them at us. Swear they hate us, but we still put on our uniform and our badge every single day with pride, with a smile on our face when we go in there. Speak for someone from my perspective, that's absolutely disgusting. That I have to go in there and I make less than $19 an hour. Less than $19 an hour. And I have to go in there and I have to deal with that. But for my brothers and sisters in the back, I put on my shield, I put on my uniform every single day with pride because I know that they've been through it. We come here and we're asked for help, and we're never here. The last time you saw us was maybe, 4 months ago? And there were 50 of us. Tonight, 11 of us stands proud, strong, and I know every single brother and sister I have in the back of that jail is back in what we're doing right now. So please, please take consideration as to what's going on today. Thank you for listening.
Is there anyone else in chambers who wishes to speak? I want to thank the members of the Albany County Correctional Facility for coming out tonight and sharing your experience. It provides us much perspective. Thank you. Public forum is now closed. Before we get started tonight, if you'll indulge me for 5 minutes, been reflecting a lot on my past several years as chair of the legislature and all the things we've accomplished together, both Democrat and Republican, which is why what we're seeing unfold in Tennessee is so troubling and problematic to me. And I wanted to share some thoughts before we get started. Both Democrat, Republican, conservative, progressive, we've all accomplished a lot together during my time as chair. We consider the facts, we consider the situation, and we make the best decision we can at the time and take emotion out of it. And we do it with respect for one another. And I think we're very fortunate here in Albany County to have that capability to work in a bipartisan manner, in the manner in which we were elected to serve. In Tennessee this past week, following yet another mass shooting that took the lives of 6 people, including 3 children under the age of 10, students from across that state marched on their state house, demanding action from their lawmakers. These lawmakers in the majority party refused to listen, except for 3 of them. Tennessee State Representatives Justin Jones, Justin Peterson, and Gloria Johnson. Instead of listening, the majority party in Tennessee attempted to intimidate the Tennessee Three, as they've been since known, by stripping them of their rights as duly elected legislators, causing their districts to go unrepresented. I can only hope they will be reappointed to their respective seats and continue to fight for the children of Tennessee. And again, we're very fortunate here in Albany County to work alongside one another. And I know if students marched into this building, we would listen to every single one of them, and we would do so out of respect for them and respect for one another. So, nice work, everybody. And before we carry on with our agenda and get into current business, I'd like to recognize our Deputy Chairwoman, Wanda Willingham, for the purposes of noting Minority Health Equity Month.
Proclamation here, you really understand what National Minority Health is all about, National Minority Health Month. Every year in April, the United States highlights the importance of improving the health of racial and ethnic minorities in American Indian and Alaskan Native communities and reducing health disparities. The foundation for National Minority Health Month began in 1915 by Booker T. Washington as National Negro Health Week to bring awareness to the health disparities affecting African Americans caused by poor working and living conditions and form the basis for many health-focused observances of today. In 2002, as a response to a call, the United States Congress resolved that a National Minority Health and Disparities Month should be established. As we look back at the coronavirus pandemic, we realized at that time just how bad these disparities were. And it was demonstrated by the data that came out. We felt that right here in our own county as we sat day by day and week by week, understanding that many of the people that were in our church community had died. And we realized just how bad those health disparities had come home to roost. I myself
have family members who have gone to the hospital and misdiagnosed in the hospital and not been treated. These are the things that affect us each and every day. It is estimated that only 14% of the United States population has proficient health literacy, and an estimated 60% of racial and ethnic minority patients over the age of 18 believe it is at least somewhat important to visit a healthcare provider who shares or understands their culture. In Albany County, health disparities continue to persist among communities of color. We have higher rates of chronic diseases, mental health issues, and mortality rates more than any other non-minority community. Addressing those health disparities requires collaboration and commitment from all Albany County stakeholders, including healthcare providers, public health professionals, community organizations, and government agencies. In January 2021, the Albany County Legislature formed the Minority Health and Equity Task Force to review policies, practices, and procedures within the county and identify opportunities to create more fair and equitable health outcomes for minority communities in Albany County. So this year, the theme is focused on better health through better understanding. The legislature will continue to focus on improving health outcomes for racial and ethnic minority communities by encouraging culturally and linguistically competent healthcare services, information, and resources. And at the end of the proclamation states this: be it resolved that the Albany County Legislature does hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as National Minority Health Month in Albany County, and calls upon the people who reside in the County of Albany to participate in appropriate programs and activities that promotes health equity and improves health outcomes for all of our residents in our communities. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Chair. Mr. Demowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to get up and speak today. Today is an important day in the Polish community. It's Dignity Day. I'd like to wish all the Polish members of the legislature and all the Polish members of Albany County a happy Dignity Day. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Demowitz. Happy Dignity Day to you as well.
Happy Dignity Day.
Mr. Demowitz, Ms. Gillingham, thank you. And finally, I'd like to turn it over to the Chair of our Law Committee, Vicki Plotsky, as April is also Parkinson's Awareness Month.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity to speak on this. As you know, April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and thank you all for signing on the proclamation declaring it Parkinson's Awareness Month in Albany County. This month is meant to increase awareness about the disease and bring attention to ongoing search for a cure and for prevention. CDC reports that Parkinson's is the second most common neurodegenerative disease in the United States. The symptoms of Parkinson's, as you might know, vary from person to person and include tremors, difficulty with balance, cognitive impairment, dementia, mood disorders, fun things like that, and other non-motor symptoms, including loss of sense of smell, which is an early symptom, just as FYI. The only true test for Parkinson's is an autopsy, which most people object to. Meanwhile, there's no cure as of yet, or a way to halt or slow the progression of the disease. The prevalence of Parkinson's has increased concomitantly with the Industrial Revolution and the modern agricultural practices. The prevalence of the disease is expected to grow to 1.2 million by the end of this decade. The cause is still unknown, but there's a high correlation with environmental exposure. Trichloroethylene increases your risk of Parkinson's by 500%. Paraquat, powerful agricultural herbicide, stronger than Roundup, banned in about 17 countries, including China, is still very prevalent and pervasive in the United States and supply. And it's correlated with markedly increased risk of Parkinson's. So we are fighting for a cure. We're trying to help those who have the disease now, but there are avenues for finding a better way to control, better way to use herbicides, a better way to control use of toxic chemicals that can lead to reducing the prevalence of the disease. So increased research, education, and community support services are needed to find more effective treatments and provide access to quality care to those living with the disease today. Our proclamation is going to be presented, they don't know this yet, so it'll be a surprise. It's going to be presented to Dr. Shin, a world-class researcher at Albany Medical College at his lab, and to Dr. Mulholm of the Movement Disorder Clinic at Albany Medical Center. If you know anyone who was recently diagnosed, 3 pieces of unsolicited advice. One is get in the best shape of your life and become the athlete you never have been before. Number 2, get with the Movement Disorder Clinic. And number 3, join a support group, because even though you might not need it, someone there needs you to be there. So I'd like to thank the members of this body. If you're not yet aware, the Capital District Parkinson's Support Group, large group. There's at least 3,000 patients just at Albany Medical Center Disorders Clinic alone. So it's very prevalent. And tying into what Legislator Wanda Willingham was saying, Parkinson's doesn't discriminate against people of color, but they are underrepresented in the treatment community and the care group, support group community. So I'd welcome hearing more from folks of color who have this, who have loved ones with this, because we want to make sure everyone is as healthy as they can be. It's not a death sentence. People live with it for years and can manage it for years. But it's no fun along the way. So it's nice to have the support groups there. And thanks to those of you who came out to the fundraiser a few weeks ago. I really appreciate it. So thanks to all of you for signing the proclamation, spreading the word about Parkinson's disease. And let's have a little hope for preventing this disease in the future as well as finding a cure. So thanks all.
Thank you, Ms. Plasky. We'll call our meeting to order. We've asked Jeff Kuhn, who celebrates a birthday this month, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Beston. Here. Brewski.
Here.
Burdorf.
Here.
Chapman. Clay.
Here.
Cleary.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Camiso.
Here.
Cunningham.
Here.
Demolowitz.
Here.
Drake. Epicoro.
Here.
Ethier.
Here.
Feeney.
Here.
Fine.
Here.
Grimm.
Here.
Andrew Joyce.
Here.
Ray Joyce.
Here.
Kuhn.
Here.
Lakakis.
Here.
Lockhart.
Here.
Muriello.
Here.
Mayo.
Here.
McLaughlin. McLean Lane. Miller.
Present.
O'Brien. Purley.
Here.
Peter.
Here.
Plosky. Reedy.
Here.
Reinhardt.
Here.
Ricard.
Present, Madam Clerk.
Simpson.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Tunney.
Here.
Ward. Whalen. Here. Willingham. 34 present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First item under previous business, 113, please.
Requesting that the New York State Liquor Authority change the hours of sale of wine and liquor in Albany County.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 113 passes unanimous. 116, please.
Public hearing on proposed local law number B for 2023, a local law of the County of Albany providing real property tax exemptions for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers pursuant to real property tax law, section 466A.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Public hearing on proposed local law B for 2023 passes unanimous. First item under current business, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Gretton Manning Engineering for design and construction inspection services regarding the County Route 111 over unnamed stream culvert replacement project in the town of Queens.
You have to come up with a name for that stream before we do this. All those in favor of 118? Aye. Opposed? 118 passes unanimous. 119, please.
Authorizing a lease agreement with Curtis Lumber Company regarding suite number 10 at the MVP Arena.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 119 passes unanimous. 120, please.
Authorizing an agreement with UniFirst Corporation regarding the rental and cleaning of uniforms and carpet runners for various county departments.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 120 passes unanimous. 121, please.
Authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Community Foundation of the Greater Capital Region regarding the installation of blue stone walkways at the Shaker Heritage Society.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 121 passes unanimous. 122, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Pizzero Associates regarding agricultural and engineering services for renovations at Lawson Lake.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Mr. Grimm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I was following the discussions in committee on this and also done some homework on the research I want to share with our members. Anytime I see a $328,000 price tag as a consultant, that catches my eye. But one of the things that was revealed during the committee meetings that there was plans to have overnight stays at Lawson Lake. And there's been no public discussion that I'm aware of about taking that place to the next level. When you have overnight stays, that's much more complicated in terms of what kind of services you have to provide and what kind of security you have. So I question whether or not this is a sensible thing. If you look at the master plan for this upper camp renovation that's listed in these documents, it's $2.2 million in construction and incidentals. For the lower camp, it's $700,000, and for additional parking and trails, $2.2 million. Already, there's at least a sketch or a plan for $5 million sinking into Lawson Lake. I think it's a nice little day park, and it should stay that way. I don't support the idea that we're going to have overnight stays there, and I think we should fix up the needed repairs, and any consulting contract should come back at a smaller scale. So for that reason, I'm opposed, and I hope other members are as well. Thank you.
Mr. Bergdorf.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to vote to support this engineering and planning document, but I share many of Mark's concerns. I'm a member of the Public Works Committee, have been for almost 8 years now, and we've never really talked about the future of Lawson Lake. I asked some questions in the committee. Was a seeker required for this? And was told that we didn't need one to do an architectural review. And now I find out that there are different phases to this plan, which will overnight cabins, potentially water treatment facilities, water, sewer. There's no seeker which has been done at this point, and I am very concerned that we're going down a road where we could be spending, and Mark's outlined about $6 million, which is in the master plan, that I'm not sure the members of this body are aware of. So I'm not sure how we get a better handle as to what the county wants to do. I don't want to stop orderly sprucing up of the park, but I do not want us to be in the hospitality industry. Somebody pointed out that the Rensselaerville complex tried to go into the hospitality industry and it's now closed. It was unsuccessful. If you go into the overnight accommodations business, you're talking about now 24-hour staff, responsibilities, liabilities, and I'm not sure we've completely thought out where this is going, but it could lead to a tremendous expenditure of funds. I will go forward and support at least seeing what the planning documents say, but I think we as a legislature need a very hard look as to where this is ultimately going and not take it piece by piece by piece. That's a segmented review, and there really has to be a master plan that everybody understands and is supportive of. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All those in favor of Resolution 122? Aye. One opposed? Okay, Resolution 122 passes, 1 no vote. Rest in favor. 123, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Parsons Child and Family Center regarding the participants achieving through hard work program.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 123 passes unanimous. 124, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Lego Workforce Solutions regarding recruitment services for Shaker Place Rehabilitation and Nursing Center.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 124 passes unanimous. 125, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Healthcare Hospitality Group, DBA On-Site Healthcare, regarding patient sitter services for Shaker Place Rehabilitation and Nursing Center.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 125 passes unanimous. 126, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Austin Air Systems for the purchase of 1,000 air purifiers for child care centers and daycare centers in Albany County.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 126 passes unanimously. 127, please.
Amending Resolution Number 184 for 2019 regarding the Tuberculosis Prevention and Control Program and amending the 2023 Department of Health budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 127 passes unanimous. 128, please.
Authorizing the submission of a grant application to the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee regarding the General Highway Safety Grant Program.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 128 passes unanimous. 129, please.
Authorizing an agreement with the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports regarding the New York State Opioid Settlement Fund.
On 129, the language was updated. The update is on your desks. On 129, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 129 passes unanimous. 130, please.
Amending Resolution Number 465 for 2021 regarding workforce development funding from the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 130 passes unanimous. 131, please.
Amending the 2023 Sheriff's Office budget, reimbursement for auctioned agency vehicles.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 131 passes unanimous. 132, please.
Amending the 2023 Sheriff's Office budget, personnel adjustments.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 132 passes unanimous. 133, please.
Authorizing an agreement with CFG Medical Services regarding medical care at the Albany County Correctional Facility.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 133 passes unanimous. 134, please.
Authorizing agreements with the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services regarding the Alternatives to Incarceration program.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 134 passes unanimous. 135, please.
Authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency of the Department of Homeland Security regarding vulnerability scanning of Albany County's public-facing networks and systems.
To know my abstention. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 135 passes unanimous with 1 abstention. 136, please.
Approving the Department of Health collective bargaining agreement with Civil Service Employees Association, Local 1000 Department of Health Unit, Local 801, and amending the 2023 Department of Health budget.
On 136, the language is updated, and the update is on your desks. On 136, all those in favor? Opposed? 136 passes unanimous. 137, please.
Approving the Department of Mental Health collective bargaining agreement with Civil Service Employees Association, Local 1000, Department of Mental Health and Crime Victim and Sexual Violence Center, Unit Local 801 and amending the 2023 Department of Mental Health budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Language is updated on that one as well. It is on your desks. 137 passes unanimous. 138, please.
Approving the Department of Residential Health Care Facilities collective bargaining agreement with New York State United Teachers Professional Staff Association collective bargaining unit and amending the 2023 Department of Residential Health Care Facilities budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 138 passes unanimous. 139, please.
Authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the New York State United Teachers Union regarding registered nurse supervisor salary adjustments.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 139 passes unanimous. 140, please.
Authorizing a memorandum of understanding between Shaker Place Rehabilitation and Nursing Center and 1199 SEIU United Healthcare Workers Bargaining Unit and amending the 2023 Albany County budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 140 passes unanimous. 141, please.
Authorizing a memorandum of understanding between Shaker Place Rehabilitation and Nursing Center and 1199 SEIU United Healthcare Workers East Service and Maintenance Workers Bargaining Unit, amending the 2023 Albany County budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 141 passes unanimous. 142, please.
Finalizing the accounting of the 2022 Albany County budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 142 passes unanimous. 143, please.
Authorizing various agreements regarding the New York State Legislative Initiative funding and amending the 2023 Albany County budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 143 passes unanimous. 144, please.
Amending the 2023 Albany County budget, administrative adjustments.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 144 passes unanimous. 145, please.
Authorizing cancellation of certain unenforceable delinquent real property tax liens on 217 and 219 3rd Street in the city of Albany and chargeback of the amounts credited in connection with said liens.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 145 passes unanimous. 146, please.
Authorizing a correction to the tax roll for the town of Colony.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 146 passes unanimous. 147, please.
Authorizing an agreement with No Inc. Innovative Election Solutions regarding the purchase of electronic poll books and ballot printing equipment.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 147 passes unanimous. 148, please.
Appointment of a member to the Albany County Ethics Commission.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 148 passes unanimous. 149, please.
Public hearing on proposed local law number C for 2023, a local law of the County of Albany, New York, amending local law number 2 for 1975 as amended, the Albany County Senior Citizens Tax Exemption Law.
Please refer the public hearing on proposed local law number C for 2023 to the Eldercare Committee and the Law Committee. 150, please.
Establishing the USA 250 Commission for the celebration of the 250th year following the American Revolution and independence of the United States.
Please refer Resolution 150 to the Law Committee and the Audit and Finance Committee. 151, please.
Amending the 2023 Albany County budget, staff adjustments.
All those in favor? Aye. Language is updated on this one as well. It is on your desks. All those opposed? 151 passes unanimous. 152, please.
Establishing a voter rights disclosure policy for all polling places managed by the Albany County Board of Elections.
Please refer 152 to the Law Committee and the Audit and Finance Committee. And add Mr. Demolowitz. 153, please.
Establishing the Albany County Safe Cam Program.
Please refer 153 to the Law Committee and the Public Safety Committee. Local law.
A local law of the County of Albany, New York, amending local law number 2 for 1975, as amended, the Albany County Senior Citizens Tax Exemption Law.
Okay, please refer that to the Elder Care Committee and the Law Committee. And add Mr. Demolowitz. Is there someone else? Mr. Efracoro? Ms. Willingham? Okay, we have two Rule 11 motions tonight. The first is from Mr. Ethier to provide security at the Board of Elections offices. Can I have a motion? Motion. Motion by Mr. Peter, seconded by Mr. Ricard. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion to invoke Rule 11 passes. Prior to us reading the resolution, Mr. Ethier, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. What that is about, not solicited by me, but me, but more from the reason I was approached by both public inspectors and Democratic inspectors complaining about the situation down there. And they just a couple of reminders of the personnel chairman, so they put that to my attention. So with that, I've been seeing the personnel, the chairman of the public safety, Bill Clegg, and I told him about it, and he said he had similar complaints, so him and I both went down there. So this was research done by Bill and I both. It's not reflecting about offense or like that, I don't know about that stuff. But the other thing I want to make sure is what Bill and I are asking is for security down there. And we're going to security in the form of cars, not some other thing the county executive may think. Is that resolution all right like that? It says security. Well, we want guards, not just any type of security. Okay, that explains itself. All right, thank you.
Ms. Whalen.
Yes, thank you for letting me speak on this. I'm in favor of it, but I'd just like to have the record reflect the history of, of what we've already done with respect to security and other recommendations to make it safe down at the Board of Elections. So the Board of Elections Task Force Committee was convened by this body in 2020 to look at safety and security issues at the Board of Elections. I was appointed to be on it to serve on this committee along with Bill Ricard, Dustin Reedy, Carolyn McLaughlin, and Lynn Lakakis. We worked tirelessly the whole COVID summer. We interviewed the commissioners, we interviewed all the employees down there that were appointed on both sides of the aisle. We recommended via an extensive 30-page report our findings that were including but not limited to a fence, landscaping, and other reconfigurations along with security be made at the Board of Elections Plaza. Everyone in this room got a copy of that report. After that, this body also gave $100,000 in the budget process to dedicate to following up on our recommendations. And an engineering consultant was hired and a report was issued that resulted in the December vote on a fence, which hasn't gone up yet. Our hard work and efforts have obviously been stalled, so I would like to, obviously, if people are still asking you for security, we've had sheriffs down there, we've been asking for fences and security and everything for 3 years. So I would like to actually extend this resolution by motion to ask for even more specifically than security and a plan from the county executive within 60 days. I would like to expand this to ask that we have a report that not just touch upon the security, but also give a status report regarding the other plans that were in our commission report and that the hired engineer consultant recommended in a report, along with an accounting as to how our $100,000 that we gave was spent and when this fence is going to be installed around the perimeter, which also I might add, I think when we redeveloped that plaza, a fence is required by the City of Albany code, which I've argued to the county executives folks there as well. I think we're actually in dereliction of the city code by not having a fence there. And I'd also like to be added on this resolution. Yes, and I'd like to extend it to also have them address the status of the other issues in the engineer's report, and that includes the fence. And you know, I also came up with something very interesting when I was thinking about this. So the county executives people always would say to me, like, the Board of Elections employees are the only ones complaining down there. There's other offices, and those folks have never had any grievances. And I started thinking about that, and I thought, well, you know, the Board of Elections is closer to the streets, not so far back. You know, there's a lot of traffic that goes through the parking lot. But, you know, a lot of those folks in those other agencies are represented by unions, and the Board of Elections employees are not elected by union representatives. And instead, they're bringing their grievances to us, which I'm very happy to advocate for them when it comes to their safety. But maybe that is something that we should consider doing, is, you know, looking into getting union representation into the Board of Elections for the employees, because they certainly have had a lot of concerns over the last few years about their, you know, their safety and whether or not anyone really cares about it. And so I thought that that might be something also interesting to explore, maybe for another time. But anyway, I am happy to also, you know, be added as a sponsor onto this resolution. And I thank Mr. Ethier and Mr. Clay for pushing this along, because certainly we need help with that. Thank you.
Mr. Collins. Let me just start with that. It warms my heart to hear a Republican talk about unionization. I like that.
That's more than research.
The difference between the health department and the Board of Elections also, as soon as you walk into the health department, you think it's security right there. It's all, it is more secure. Listen, I made my 174-year trip to the Board of Elections Monday, and I had no problem. There's nobody, you know, I pulled right in, there was nobody around. It was locked, they let you in. But if the employees don't feel safe in their working environment, that concerns me. And that's what bothers me most of all of this. And I think the chairman of public safety, if he was down there and he thinks that it's a necessary thing to move forward with, I support it 100%. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Bergdorf. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sort of a little bit confused. We issued a report, bipartisan report, which went to the county executive, and we made recommendations. We put money in the budget for a fence. The fence was designed. I think we did the fence, and it's not there yet. I got a little bit of concern because for many times during the year, we actually had sheriff's deputies there, not security. And I don't know whether those are provisions that are required in the election law when an election is ongoing, but I'd like to know how, I don't want to lose the sheriff's presence that is down there, and I think that has to be integrated into any security operations that take place. I think most of the people at the Board of Elections are concerned about the environment outside. I don't know that they're threatened in their workplace. I think they're threatened by their environment and needles in the parking lot, and acts that certain members of the public are doing on the street, etc. And I hope that whatever security options take place, do something to protect that parking lot, as well as, I just don't want to see a security guard in a vestibule to allow people in and out of the Board of Elections. So, I don't know if there, as chairman of the Personnel Committee and Public Safety Committee, if there have been any discussions with the County Executive's Office, but can anyone enlighten us to what the position of the county is on implementing what we have already reported on, made recommendations for, appropriated money for, and awarded contracts on? Because as I sit here tonight, we're asking the county executive, or is that what we're doing tonight? Is by saying, gee, we've done all these things, why don't you tell us in 60 days what you're going to do? I'm not quite sure, given the chronology of the way this is unpacked, what the, and I'll be glad to support it, but, you know, it would seem to me that a discussion with the county executive's office might be fruitful.
From my perspective, I can say we've been working closely with the county exec's office and EGS over the past 2 years plus, you know, on implementing some of these recommendations that our task force, you know, worked so hard on implementing and coming up with. They're great recommendations. I think this initial discussion here about getting the security guard in is, a lot of us have gone down to the Board of Elections over the past several weeks, you know, doing petitioning and talking with the employees, talking with the commissioners. I'm sure Mr. Ethier had a conversation with the Democratic commissioner, and we're talking to everybody, and this issue came back up, and a lot of us have gone down over the past 2 weeks to file, and yeah, you have to ring a buzzer to get in, and an employee has to come out from around the desk to open the door. So every other county building and county facility has some type of security. Why wouldn't the Board of Elections have a security guard as well to manage that door and to watch that door? So I think that's where this comes out of, is that conversation. This is kind of like a quick fix solution in tandem doing what we did with the Board of Elections Task Force recommendations, which are more comprehensive and may take a little more time to implement, but we are working on them. Mr. Clay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This problem seemed to be growing in complication. It kind of started, I went down there to the Board of Election, and I was met by 2 employees. One lady who said she was leaving because she was accosted out in the parking lot. That one, and then someone from, one of the security people from the Department of Health or Mental Hygiene, whatever it is over there, came out and helped her. So it seems to be more complicated. I mean, I get all the fences and all of that. I certainly appreciate what you guys did in terms of the report and the investigation, but it seems to me it was a simple fix. I don't know why it was so complicated. Every county building around here has a security. I mean, they just have a security person in. And it's so why couldn't we just ask the county exec for a security? Now, over in the Department of Health, they mentioned that there used to be a camera system that has since been disabled or removed or whatever, where the security people over in the Department of Health could monitor the whole parking lot. That is not operational at this point. And they told us that. Lee Gill was over there, and they said, well, we used to be able to, we could see, we could monitor, we could see if anything was happening, but that's disabled. I don't know why it's so complicated. Whether you go to a state building, whether you go to a county building, whether you go to the feds, they have a person there, a security person there, monitoring. I grant you, conditions are such today that we need security. We really do. But what's so complicated? Let's put a security person in. Now, I went there, Gil and I both went over there, and we had to ring the bell, and someone on the other side said, who is it? and I said, excuse me. And the other person on the other So what do you want? I mean, this is crazy. I mean, and I was upset over the whole thing. Then Gil and I got together, and we, why can't we just say to the county exec, we as the county legislature is requesting not a procrastination that you've been doing, but we want it to happen now. And put a security person there and an extension of what's already over there in the health department. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair. McLaughlin.
I feel like I just started here 3 years ago, because that's when this conversation started. I was a part of the task force, and I was proud to be on it. I live in the South End, and I travel South Grove Street every day. I drive past the Board of Elections every day. Oftentimes I walk past there because I'm going to some establishment there. Yes, professional people do walk South Grove Street. You have lawyers, you have police officers, you have witnesses of all types coming in and out of the courthouse, in and out of Division 1, that walk South Grove Street, that walk from Madison Avenue, maybe even State Street, down to the Board of Elections. And I have no fear when I go down there. But every time this conversation comes up in here, I'm offended. I'm offended because I live in that community. I know people who walk those streets every day. And the way we talk about that community, it's offensive to me. And I'm very emotional about it because I grew up in that community. And I still live less than a quarter of a mile from there. So while I am as concerned as anybody else in this room about the safety of those employees in the Board of Elections, I'm also concerned about the integrity of my community. So if we're going to solve this problem, do not do it at the expense of talking about a place where I live every day, where I have to walk. You're talking about me, because I walk those streets. You could be afraid of me, because I think a lot of it does have to do with the color of my skin. I walk that parking lot. I've yet to see a needle on the ground. I'm not saying they're not there, but I don't go looking for them either. I respect the people in that community, the haves and the have-nots. And that's what I expect. When we have this conversation, to me it is too a simple fix. If you had security out there when the elections were taking place, why not just keep them there? If the people that are coming to work in the morning, going to lunch at noon, and leaving at night say that they would like to have security, give it to them. As Mr. Clay said, that's a simple solution. While we worry about whether a fence is going to be wrought iron, black, brown, or green, or whatever, put the security there. I listened to the conversations when we had those meetings, sitting outside of the Board of Elections in the heat of the summer. Did we witness some things? Yes, we did. But I tell you, I take a lot of pride in the South End of Albany. I take a lot of pride in the community that I live in. And you will not castigate that whole community because there are a few people who walk up and down South Grove Street, maybe having mental health problems, maybe having substance abuse problems. Because those are the folks that we should be concerned about as well. How are we addressing the problems that they have so that they don't accost people that are trying to go to work? This is not a one-sided story here, people. And I know some of you, as somebody said, they took their first once in 4-year trip down to the Board of Elections. So that's probably the case for some of you others in here as well. So your experience is a little different than mine. So I would ask, if you visited a little more often, maybe you would get rid of some of those fears that you had. I had fear going to Delmar.
you want to know the truth. I slow down to 25 miles an hour going over Delaware Avenue because I don't want to be stuck there either. So the fear you have on South Grove Street in front of the Board of Elections, I have in your pristine community in Delaware. I have it going out to Gilbert. Oh yes. So let's be fair about this thing. I need a security with me when I go through those communities. But am I asking for that? No. So I'm just asking, please, give due respect to the community as we try to solve this problem of the safety of the employees of the Board of Elections. I want them to come to work. I don't want anybody to quit because they won't feel safe at their place of work. I don't want that to happen. But please, let's be fair, let's be respectful in our discussion of this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin. And just to build on some of the sentiments that were shared before about Democrat and Republican, I think any of us who have analyzed this issue, whether it be through the task force or talking to the sheriff about the issues at the Board of Elections, when there's comments about the environment tonight, I think those of us who have looked at this and have been down there know that it's not the South End community that is a problem with the Board of Elections. It's not the people that live there. It's not the people that work there. And we're building off that solution now. So there will be no denigrated comments on the people of the South End or the people of the South End community here tonight. But we will work together to solve the problem. We'll have Mr. Ethier. The clerk has not even read the resolution yet. So final comments from the sponsor, and then we'll vote on it, and we'll have Ms. Willingham as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The task force did a great job. And Carolyn, as far as my thing is nothing to do with the South End at all. Matter of fact, I was a frequent visitor to South End in my younger days with the restaurants and a nice time down there. So it has nothing to do with the South End. It has to do with taking the table, doing that, getting two guys, and standing there. That's all it has to do. That's all Bill and I am asking for. I didn't directing anybody with the area, didn't direct any fences or anything. None of that stuff. And as far as the person that mentioned the bill about retiring was a Republican inspector. Just to show you that, just to mention that. So we have no motive other than put it. Matter of fact, I'll be calling McCoy an hour from now and tell him what we did here. And I'm going to ask him to get two guards and put a chair at the table down there. It ain't a big deal. And nothing to do with the community at all. It's the people in there have a funny feeling. I know what their feelings are. They jump all over me, jump all over Bill, both sides. Matter of fact, Bill and I held court like this. We stopped court right there for at least 10 minutes. Then we built, and we addressed the whole group. Told them what we were going to do, and we're doing what we did. Nothing about fences, nothing about task force, nothing about that stuff. We want a table put down there with two guards. Now, if McCoy can't do that, he should take it down. Bottom line.
Thank you, Ms. Willingham. Then we'll have a vote.
We all know if we go back with this whole thing as far as the Board of Elections, started from the Board of Elections being moved from Russellville. It started then. And so I think the one thing that we do have to realize is this. We have children that are afraid to go to school because of other children being killed. Just within the past month, we know what we have had to live with. When I saw those people on the television talking about the parents that sent their kids to school that morning not knowing that they weren't going to see them in the afternoon. I think we need to be very, very careful how we deal with anyone's security. And that we not blame it on the neighborhood. Now, the perception that has been given is that, and that's not what it should be. In this country today, we are dealing with so many different things, and in so many different places. So my heart still goes out to those people as I can still see that woman's face. Every single day, I can still see her face talking about those children. And so there are things that we do need to take our time with and to understand. So as legislators, whatever we do, we have a responsibility to everyone. To everyone. And if we continue to think about the safety of the children that are going to school, that's where it really starts. It just breaks my heart. Because the ones that have been killed in the mass murders are kids, are children. Now, we need to just take this, reel it back. I've heard the solution come out, I don't know how many mouths here tonight, and it's simple. Put a security guard in the building. That's all, right now, as far as I'm concerned, that is an immediate resolution to the problem. Yes, I did run into the same thing that Bill ran into when he went down there. I was asked, who is it? I thought that was rather unprofessional.
Me too.
You know, when you read it, and I almost didn't know how to answer. I didn't know what they wanted me to say. Okay? And so, all I'm trying to is get out tonight is this. Security for the people in this country has changed immensely. Okay? So let's not, like, to me, it's just, it's bothering me and how we're talking about this here tonight. Okay? Let's do what we have to do. We got intelligent people in this room. We have people that have been in security. We know what to do. Let's just take care of it. Stop, you know, if people feel like that the community in which they live has been denigrated, let's just stop that. That's not the message I know that we want to, I know that. So let's just do what we need to do. Put a security guard down there and do what their request is simple. And so tonight, we'll definitely be voting in favor of that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. And before the clerk reads Resolution 154, there's a lot of strong united voice in this room tonight for the necessary improvements that need to get made to the Board of Elections based off all the...
I wanted to say a couple of things. I don't know if my friend wants to say a couple of things. We didn't get an opportunity to speak.
Okay, we'll do yourself. Lynn, did you want to say something as well? Mr. Brewski?
No,
we'll end it with that.
Bill's been having his hand up for a long time.
Okay. We want to make sure everyone's voices are heard. But I would like to, in addition to building or putting a security guard at the Board of Elections, it'd be good in our conversations with pardon me, folks. It'd be good to get with the county executive and say this body is in full support of implementing every single one of those recommendations that our task force implemented. So in addition to the security guard, we need to move forward with all the full recommendations that the task force published and move forward with that and fulfill our responsibility. So we'll have a few more comments and then we'll vote. Mr. Ricard.
Mr. Chairman, I think Mr. Epicor was first.
Mr. Ricard.
Thank you.
Yeah, call on you.
I just want to say a couple of things. I too went down there last Thursday and Friday. And I was taken back that, we had to be buzzed in, for lack of a better term. I don't care about myself, to be honest with you, because I have to be buzzed in. However, if an everyday citizen has to be buzzed in, I don't think that's right. From anywhere in Albany County to go down there and have to be buzzed in. With that said, I did go in there on Thursday and Friday, like I said. I had to use the restroom, right? And I couldn't find the restroom. I knew where the restroom was, but I couldn't find it. And why couldn't I find it? Well, someone at the county, put this on top of it. They've got duct tape around it and a cardboard sign. They cover up where it said restroom. Why did they do that? I didn't know. So one of the workers there said to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm taking a picture and I don't know what is on here. Why did you do that?" She said, "Because individuals are doing illicit drugs in there and we have to put up with it fairly frequently." She didn't say the amount of time. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I really apologize. We'll look into it. I meant we as a legislative body." So I'm just trying to say that, the buzzing in, it's not right for the county as a whole, any individuals after this. But aside from that, Security guards, I think that's a good, great solution. I think we all are in agreement on that. And I think we need to do that right away. But on the same token, it's not fair for employees to have to work under that environment in the workplace and outside the workplace. Whoever is causing that, whoever. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Remiss for not recognizing, Mr. Eaton's hand is going like this all night. Focusing on that side of the room, so I apologize for not
No problem.
seeing your hands go up. This
No
happens.
problem.
Every day let me talk.
I jiggled my pencil before Carolyn spoke, so she really covered a lot of important things, but I just wanted to remind us that we have a responsibility to our employees, yes we do, but we also have a responsibility to the community. We have to be a good neighbor, we have to be welcoming to all the citizens who come to the door, and to be asked who is it is really kind of ridiculous. And we do have these problems all over the world right now with the security. You know, I live on Delaware, off Delaware Avenue, and there's a security guard at the little CVS there. I've been going there for 25 years, and this year there's a security guard there now, probably because they need one. You know, it's not a good state of the world, but you know, on the corner, next to our neighborhood there's a school right there. You know, the mission is right there. They're building a new gas station, and I certainly hope that we're able to keep that whole area, the city, the county, all the people who live around there, the schools, to keep that area safe, because I'm kind of shocked by the allowing more traffic to be there in that cluster of, you got the Arch Street is right there where the fire and the police are. I mean, there's going to be a lot of traffic right there if they're just adding some gas stations right next to the BOE. So just remember, it is a big problem. It's a big problem with many solutions, but I think that the security guard will be a little more welcoming than buzzing the bell and show the community that we do, employees that we care about them, but also the community that we care about the community as well. That's it.
Mr. Brisky, did you have your hand raised?
Look at Bill in here.
Thank you. Mr. Pecora.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. When this was ongoing, I was a little angry myself too, but Caroline Carey talked about a lot of them already, so I'm going to let those go. And great job, Caroline, for bringing those up. And Lekakis and Ricard covered a lot of what I wanted to say as well. So great job to everyone that spoke before me now. What I also just want to add to it is that a lot of these things that we are discussing tonight, we are having to discuss it because, like Caroline said, a lot of the people that live in that district, in that area, look like people like me. So, and a lot of these people also are people that have mental health issues and having to deal with homelessness. Am I saying that right? Homelessness. Yes. That have to do with homelessness. So we in Albany County and the city of Albany working together with Albany County, the county of Albany, we have to reimagine how we deal with homelessness and how we deal with mental health issue and people suffering from mental health illnesses. And I think that is one of the ways that we can solve these type of issues that we are discussing tonight. So I think we should not end at just providing security for that area, but figure out how to better deal with homelessness and mental health in Albany County. That's all I have to say tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Ms. Lockhart.
I'd just like to say that 3 years ago, when this was discussed, everybody was in agreement to have the Board of Elections more secure, which it should be for the public and for the people that are living there. And I think we're all at the same place today. The difference is that something seemed, I don't know what happened in the process. Some of these things I thought were already done, and they haven't been. So it's probably the best thing that yours and Mr. Clay's resolution brought forth is maybe we can focus back on getting all this stuff done. But I don't think there's any dissension of this body about that needing to be done. So I think we should pass this resolution and move forward.
Mr. Fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be brief because Mr. Rockland, Mr. Ficoro, many others covered a lot of what I feel. But it's my district, so I just want to say, yes, we should pass this. We need to prioritize the security of the people who work at the Board of Elections and go to the Board of Elections. But as many have already said, we also have to think about the people who live in that community. There are a lot of people who are struggling in that community. Homelessness is on the rise. A lot of people have mental health issues, and we need to really do a better job of addressing that. The students at Giffen Elementary School, their parents, they come to me because they feel they're concerned about the safety of their children. And so, it is a wonderful community, but we need to focus on addressing the issues that exist. Homelessness, mental health issues, and making the community overall a safer place.
Mr. Ethier, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to thank you, Mr. Chair, for entertaining all this talk tonight. I really appreciate recognizing me.
We could tape it every
3 times.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read Resolution 154.
Requesting the county executive provide security at the Albany County Board of Elections.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution 154 passes unanimous. Nice work, Mr. Ethier and Mr. Clay. Finally, we have one more Rule 11. It is a budget amendment to correct 2 resolutions we did last month. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Mr. Peter, seconded by Mr. Ficoro. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? A motion to invoke Rule 11 passes. Unanimous. Madam Clerk, please read Resolution 155.
Amending resolution numbers 93 and 95 for 2023 regarding amendments to the 2023 Albany County budget.
All those in favor of Resolution 155? Aye. Opposed? Resolution 155 passes unanimous. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Coons, seconded by Mr. Peter. All those in favor? Aye. Good night, everyone. Thank you.